We are going to look at some WWE moments that probably should have been censored. I thought this is a great video for us as we're diving into wrestling and kind of getting to know everybody. I want a little bit of a backstory to everything.
I want to know if some rules are supposed to be happening or not, because I see crazy things. I'm like, is that allowed? Because it's so dangerous, but awesome.
Right, you see people being thrown off areas that probably shouldn't be. It just gets wild. I want to know what's going on. I want the backstory. I know we've talked about this before. So us being, I'd say, pretty much newbies
I'd
to
say
this.
so.
This is going to be really good, I think. Let's dive into it right now.
The Undertaker's undefeated WrestleMania streak is one of the most celebrated legacies in WWE history. But not every chapter in that streak was a masterpiece. In fact, one entry was so disturbing, so tasteless, it's almost never mentioned by WWE today. At WrestleMania 15, The Undertaker faced Big Boss Man in a Hell in a Cell match. The match itself was nothing to write home about, but it was the post-match that left viewers stunned for all the wrong reasons. After defeating Boss Man, The Undertaker looked to the rafters, where his Ministry of Darkness henchmen descended. The dead man proceeded to attach a noose around Boss Man's neck and hoisted him up into the air, simulating a public hanging, live on pay-per-view.
How are they even
during
pulling this
WrestleMania.
off?
Even by Attitude Era
so
standards,
wrong.
it was too much, unnecessarily dark and completely out of place in a wrestling ring. Given The Undertaker's legendary status and the fact that Big Boss Man has since passed away, it's no surprise WWE chooses to never mention this moment again. Though the Ruthless Aggression era wasn't quite as wild as the Attitude Era, it still had no shortage of questionable storylines.
Can you
and
even?
The Dawn Marie and Al Wilson saga is one great example. What started off as just a regular feud between Dawn Marie and Tori Wilson quickly twisted into something straight out of a soap opera nightmare. As a way to get back at her rival, Dawn Marie set her sights on Tori's real-life dad, Al Wilson. Perhaps McMahon thought that it was a great idea to involve an elderly man in this already bizarre storyline.
Oh, sick.
What is going on?
After Dawn, Marie proposed marriage to Al Wilson and shockingly suggested they get married in their undergarments. But WWE wasn't done pushing the envelope. The following week on SmackDown, WWE aired footage from their honeymoon where Al Wilson was shown unconscious in their hotel room. Paramedics rushed in and tried to revive him, but the shocking revelation came from Dawn Marie herself. Al Wilson had died from too much sex. Though it marked the last time Al Wilson was seen on WWE TV,
We know that
the
has to be
feud
fake.
between Tori and Dawn Marie didn't end there. Their rivalry dragged on until the 2003 Royal Rumble, in what WWE actually promoted as a stepmother versus stepdaughter match. Clearly, no storyline had been this bizarre, but as history has shown us, this wouldn't be the last of Vince McMahon's unhinged mind. Let's move ahead, not to a match or an in-ring segment, but to a promo package that landed WWE in serious hot water. WrestleMania 39 is still considered one of Triple H era's finest hours. The card featured a brilliant balance of top-tier wrestling and emotional storytelling. Among the most personal rivalries on the card was the long-brewing father versus son clash between Dominic and Rey Mysterio. Dominic, now firmly planted in his role as the entitled delusional son of was doing some of the best heel work in WWE at the time. As part of the build-up to the father versus son match at WrestleMania 39, WWE aired a promo package. During the promo, Dominic whined, "You think this is a game to me? I served hard time, and I survived." Eagle-eyed viewers noticed that a real image from Auschwitz concentration camp had been included in the montage, using an image from one of history's most horrific sites of mass murder, where over 1 million innocent people were brutally exterminated, was an outrageous blunder on WWE's part. While the company swiftly edited the footage out within hours of the segment airing, the word was already out. Screenshots circulated and the company found itself condemned by media outlets and human rights organizations right in the middle of WrestleMania season. Clearly, the timing couldn't have been worse. We'd be shocked if someone from the editing team didn't lose their job over this. As everyone knows, the Attitude Era wasn't exactly known for modesty, but even by its wild standards, this was something else. Jacqueline, a legitimate pioneer in women's wrestling, was involved in a mixed tag match at Capital Carnage 1998 in London. Teaming with Mark Marrow against Sable and Christian, the bout played off a heated rivalry between Sable and Jacqueline. Now, Jacqueline wasn't just any female talent. She was tough as nails, and one of the few women who regularly competed against male wrestlers. Much like China, she broke barriers and brought legitimacy to the women's division. Coming back to the mixed tag team match at Capital Carnage, the match itself was intense and crowd-pleasing, ending with Sable picking up the victory after pinning Jacqueline. But the real shock came moments later. Enraged by the loss, Jacqueline lashed out at the referee and climbed on his shoulders. As he stood up, Sable seized the moment and ripped Jacqueline's crop top, resulting in an accidental and very real wardrobe malfunction, exposing her on live television. Whether you find it jaw-dropping or just plain ridiculous, we'll let you be the judge. But in any case, it's hard to justify how such a moment ever made it to air. When the Nexus made their explosive debut in June 2010, it was one of the most chaotic invasions in WWE history. Led by Wade Barrett, the group assaulted John Cena, CM Punk, and laid waste to the ring and anything in their sight, creating utter chaos unlike anything seen in years. Perhaps in the heat of the moment, newcomer Daniel Bryan took things a step too far. In a moment that wasn't clearly part of the script, Bryan attacked ring announcer Justin Roberts and began choking him with it on live television. While fans were amused and shocked by the gritty energy of the segment, WWE officials backstage were far from pleased, with the company trying to maintain a family-friendly image and keep sponsors like Mattel happy. Bryan's actions were deemed too violent. As a result, just days after making his debut, Daniel Bryan was released from the company. WWE also scrubbed the segment from replays and official footage. Bryan later acknowledged that he may have crossed a line and accepted responsibility. Despite the setback, his release was short-lived, as overwhelming fan demand led to his reinstatement. Just 2 months later, Bryan returned at SummerSlam 2010 as a surprise member of Team WWE, marking the start of a comeback that would define his legendary career. When it comes to controversial moments that WWE should have expurgated, it's impossible not to start with the former chairman himself, Vince McMahon. Always known for pushing boundaries, Vince McMahon has been at the center of numerous on-screen missteps. One of the most infamous occurred at Survivor Series 2005. Just moments before John Cena's upcoming WWE Championship match, a backstage segment aired where McMahon used the N-word while speaking to Cena. The moment was so strange and tone-deaf that many viewers weren't sure if they had actually heard it right. But just in case there was any doubt, McMahon casually walked past Booker T and his wife Sharmell. Booker, clearly playing into the moment, responded with his now iconic line, "Tell me he didn't just say that." The segment sparked immediate backlash from the media and fans alike. Many questioned how such offensive language could have made it past WWE's content censors. Now, it's worth noting that only after the controversy erupted did WWE act, swiftly scrubbing the segment from all future broadcasts and digital platforms.
That's the only thing you can
later addressed
do.
the incident, stating it was intended as a skit and expressed regret for the poor judgment. But clearly, McMahon wasn't as apologetic as he claimed to be. Just 2 years after his use of a racial slur on live television, he stirred yet another firestorm. This time it occurred during WWE's rebooted version of ECW in 2007. After crossing paths with ECW legend Sabu, McMahon remarked that he wasn't in Texas, but in Afghanistan. Then, in a tone played for laughs, McMahon suggested that Sabu looked like a member of the Taliban. He ended the exchange by telling Sabu to stay away from him, as though his presence was dangerous or threatening. The tastelessness of this promo is amplified by the post-9/11 context in which it aired, a time when anti-Arab and anti-Muslim sentiment was at a disturbing high in the United States. Rather than exercising restraint, WWE leaned into the worst stereotypes, making the entire exchange even more offensive and inexcusable. WWE's
Things are getting pretty wild here. I don't know.
Revered and respected.
Sounds like he holds everybody else accountable but himself.
Just how wild things were during the Attitude Era, and nothing encapsulated the sheer chaos of that era better than what occurred at Armageddon 1999. During the show, Miss Kitty captured the Women's Championship in a four corners evening gown pool match. The bout took place in a makeshift pool by the entrance ramp and featured Miss Kitty, Ivory, Jacqueline, and BB. The objective? Strip your opponents of their evening gowns while battling in the water. After her victory, she grabbed the microphone and declared that she wanted to celebrate further. To the crowd's amusement, she stripped down to her undergarments and, in a moment that aired live, she briefly exposed her chest to the audience. The segment was immediately interrupted as Sergeant Slaughter rushed in to cover her with a towel, but not before the moment became one of the most infamous, uncensored incidents in the company's history. Many fans have their own opinions about the infamous live sex celebration between Edge and Lita, which aired in 2006. Just one night after Edge cashed in his Money in the Bank contract at New Year's Revolution to defeat John Cena and become WWE champion, he fulfilled his bold promise, celebrating the win with his girlfriend Lita in a massive bed set up in the middle of the ring, getting intimate in front of a live audience. Before the segment could go too far, Ric Flair interrupted, ending with John Cena hitting Lita with an attitude adjustment. While the segment brought record ratings for WWE, what unfolded behind the scenes was far more disturbing. Years later, Lita explained that she, along with Edge, John Cena, pleaded with Vince McMahon to scrap or tone down the segment, but McMahon refused. According to Lita, he even threatened to fire her if she didn't go through with it. The aftermath deeply affected Lita. She later cited this incident as one of the key reasons for her departure from WWE later that year. To make matters worse, the segment also featured a brief wardrobe malfunction, where Lita's breast was accidentally exposed on live TV. WWE quickly censored the footage in later replays, but the moment was initially broadcast unfiltered to millions, an unfortunate risk that often comes with such boundary-pushing segments. The Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar, is one of the dominant wrestlers of all time and has built his career on his ruthless nature. Earlier in his career, WWE wanted to showcase just how merciless Lesnar could be, and to do so, they put him up against the company's first ever amputee wrestler, Zach Gowen. Gowen had legitimately lost his leg to cancer as a child, but that didn't stop him from chasing the world of professional wrestling. Unlike a one-off guest appearance, Gowen was a fully signed WWE superstar, but WWE saw an opportunity to use him as a tool to amplify Lesnar's monstrous persona. Anyone watching could expect that the match wouldn't be in Zach Gowen's favor, but what actually unfolded was shockingly brutal. Lesnar attacked Gowen before the match even began, delivering a relentless assault that included steel chair shots, vicious elbows to the head, and multiple F5s into the steel ring post, all in front of Gowen's real-life mother, who watched in horror from the crowd. By the end of it, Gowen was left a bloody, motionless heap. So why does this moment make our list? Because many agree that the sheer level of unnecessary brutality crossed a line. Even more disturbing were the backstage rumors suggesting that the savage beatdown may have been intended as a punishment for Gowen, possibly due to him violating backstage etiquette or heat with management. Years later, Gowen opened up about the incident during an interview on the Rewind Recap Relive podcast, revealing just how dangerous the segment actually was. Lesnar was originally scripted to hit 3 consecutive power bombs, but stopped after 2 when he realized Gowen had been knocked unconscious. He was supposed to give me 3 power bombs in a row, Gowen recalled, but after 2, he realized I was out cold. He felt my body go limp. I'd hit my head hard on the mat. Honestly, by stopping, he may have saved my life. While the segment may have been designed to elevate Lesnar's vicious persona, many believe it should have been heavily toned down or scrapped altogether, especially given the very real danger involved.
Those moments got pretty wild really fast. I wasn't really expecting all of that.
Oh no, I was completely shocked, dumbfounded in the whole thing. Like, I couldn't believe it happened.
They really pushed it back in that era. What was it, 98 to 07, 08? I mean, there was no filter at all.
There was no rules. They did whatever they want, and they didn't care who they walked on.
I mean, just that first incident where he's being tied up. Like, first of all, how did they accomplish that? I'm still mind blown.
How is he alive? Like, how did he not die in that moment?
In that moment, right? But you heard what he said. He's no longer with us today.
Yeah, because that probably took some years off his life.
I don't know, but that was wild. And then just the women.
That's a whole nother story. Ooh. Oh, God. Yeah.
I was not expecting any of these moments, but I mean, these wrestlers obviously go through a lot emotionally, physically, so you got to give it to them, though.
Yeah, well, I give them so much respect. Yeah, that's like a lot of trauma.
It is. It really is. Good video, I want to say. Very informative.
I think I was locked in. Like, I couldn't look away.
We didn't talk much in that one, so we were just kind of taking it all in. But it's good to hear this side of the story of the wrestling stories, the wrestling plots, I should say.
Like the big things that happened in history.
It was still good to watch, I thought. So.
It left me lost for words, definitely.
Comment down below, what do we need to take a look at next? What did you feel about this video? Are you on the same pattern as should it be censored? I don't know.
I think so.
I feel like maybe some people might not think so. I don't know.
I think it definitely crossed some boundaries.
I think so too, a couple, but wild. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. Otherwise, that is it for this video. If you made it to the end, hit the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Otherwise, we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.